Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Ambrosia Carey, an educator with Olivia Garden, and today I'm going to show you 3 separate techniques using the PerfectBlend Shears by Olivia Garden. So most of the time when we're thinking of blending shears, we're really thinking of just removing weight, but there's actually quite a few different ways that you can be using these. So I'm going to be sharing 3 separate techniques. One is going to be with the teeth pointed down. The other will be with the teeth pointed up. So I'm actually going to rotate the shears where the teeth are pointed up. And then the next one is going to be teeth to the side. So I'm actually going to be channel cutting within the section. So just to give a quick general overview, if you have the teeth pointed up, which is what the natural position is, that's the reason why you see the tang at the very top, which is where your hands rest when you're actually cutting. Teeth pointed up is for stacking purposes. So when you're doing bobs or you're doing any stacked wedges, teeth pointed up is going to help with building up shape and volume. If you actually reverse the teeth down, however, and you have the teeth pointed down while you're texturizing and you're doing the exact same motion, then you're going to be stacking layers up and you're going to be taking weight out of the top and preserving length through the bottom. So I'm going to show you a quick demo doing the 2 different techniques, cutting horizontally with these PerfectBlend shears. So I'm using a mannequin head to show this demo. I sectioned the hair into 2 different sections horizontally. This bottom section, like I was saying, I'm gonna do the traditional horizontal parting where I'm picking the section up, dropping my comb in from underneath, and my teeth are pointed up. That's a natural position, again, with your finger on top of the tang. So I'm just gonna do a couple of swipes through here as I'm lifting. And when I drop that section down, you can see from the side angle that it actually caused a little bit more fullness through here. So I'm gonna do a couple more sections just for demo purposes. I'm gonna pick this up, drop my comb in. I'm gonna swipe through a couple times as I elevate and drop that down, and that rounded that shape out. So what that does is it builds up. And just to make it even, I'm going to go ahead and do this side as well. So times that I would want to do this, for instance, is if I had someone with a lot of density in one spot and I wanted to give more illusion of movement and shape, maybe it feels a little bit flat, but I don't necessarily want to stack those layers more, then that is when I would want to have my teeth pointed up and I would want to move horizontally through the section, moving the section up. And just keep in mind that the higher the section, the more the elevation, the more the lift, because the general rule of thumb is that short pushes long. So now I'm going to go ahead and drop the top section down, and I'm going to reverse the teeth this time where the teeth are pointed down, so that way you can see just what happens when you go in with that angle as well. Okay, so I have this top section down now, and you can kind of see the previous cut, there are already layers built into it. And this is very typical when you have a client sitting in your chair. Let's say you wanted to have a bit of a stacked wedge or a bob or something like this, even a lob, for instance, and you kept putting more layers and more layers, but it just kept disappearing into the cut. Let's pretend you don't want to put any more layers into it, for instance, but you feel like it's a bit of a heavy shelf through here. You want to see some elevation, and you also want to see a little bit more movement. So this is where I'm going to be picking that top section up, dropping my comb underneath, and then I'm going to reverse my shears so that the teeth are pointed down. And I'm going to do the exact same motion. You can see the difference right now in the center, and we'll do a couple more sections, for instance, where it makes it softer and lighter. And if I were to move this around, you see the hair kind of moving around now. Again, it's stacking that layering up a little bit more. It's making this lighter and airier through the top, but it's not meant to add bulk or volume. It's actually meant to take away bulk and volume. So when you're reversing your shears, just know that you're doing those for 2 separate purposes. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it a couple more times, just like I did in the previous section. Again, reversing the shears, dropping the comb underneath, grabbing that section, open and close, adding more higher elevation. And if I want to keep going all the way up higher, then all it's going to be doing is skimming off the very end to the top, and that's going to give again, more movement. We're gonna do it one last time so we can even this side out. So I'm gonna take this up, drop my comb in. My shears are reversed, so the teeth are pointed down, and elevate while I'm stacking, drop that down. Instantly, I think visually you can actually see where there is not only more movement and the hair looks fuller now because you've got the stacking from underneath, you've got the lightness from the top, but you can also see as I move my hands through the hair that there's a lot more texture and movement, so to speak. Like you can see the angles of the cut that I cut previously, it really helps it stand out. So sometimes it doesn't really require more layering per se. All you have to do is take weight out from the middle of the hair and the layers reveal and show themselves. So now we're gonna do one more technique where we're going more vertical within, and we're gonna do some channel cutting. So as I was mentioning before, I'm gonna show you some channel cutting, but what I wanted to show you is I actually already did some on the right side of the head, and I left this left side for you. So the reason why is because I want you to really see the difference between the two. Even though they're both cut the same, weight-wise, it just looks heavier, and the shape actually changes a little bit. You can see that this gets a little bit skinnier toward the bottom, and it rounds a little bit better as well. Channel cutting, basically the concept behind it is that you are picking up your section through here and you're holding it out. I prefer to do it on the vertical because then I can really see where the weight is falling. And I'm going and opening up channels through the hair. I'm closing my shears out as I'm exiting the head. You can do this as many times as you want. Just be very careful that if you're on the side of the head, that you're not wiping too much out, of course, and be really conscious of how close to the scalp you're doing this. So that's the reason why I like to use a good finger width away from the head, and then I pull further out. So I wanna make sure that I have about 3 inches of depth from the actual scalp when I'm doing this. And I'm gonna open and close. So this is what I already did on this side, like I was saying before, and I'm gonna show you on the other side. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now. It's important for me when I'm doing this part of the cut that I'm holding the same angle that I was cutting in. So like I was saying before, I'm opening up a vertical section and I'm gonna hold it up at a higher elevation so the bottom drops out. That way I'm not over texturizing the underneath. I'm gonna pick up my PerfectBlend Shears, go internally and just start carving out, creating those open channels. As I get closer to the bottom, I want to be a little bit more conservative, so I'm just going to do the very end of the hair. I'm going to drop that section down and I'm just going to move right on to the very next one. Again, take the entire section, elevate it up slightly, let part of the bottom drop out so you're not cutting too much into the base of it. Open and close. Oh, don't overdo your channel cutting. It's really, you can always pick it back up and do more later on. But if you overdo channel cutting, then what can happen is that the ends can feel a little too tattered and you can start to lose your shape too. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. So you can see already that this is starting to curve inward. It's looking skinnier through the bottom. You see your general shaping through the sides. It's starting to even out a little bit more, but I still see a little bit of extra bulk right where the ear is, and that is the most common area where I would use this technique. So I'm gonna go right above the ear once again, and this time around, I'm actually gonna hold it at a slightly higher elevation because really where the weight is living is coming from the top actually. So I'm gonna hold it higher up, and I'm gonna do a couple of open and close techniques. As I exit out, I can already see those open channels to the bottom, so I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna drop this down again and reevaluate. So this is the perfect example. This feels really good to me. It feels balanced. This is a little bit heavier just through that curtain fringe. This is one of those instances where you can literally do some spot treatment. I'm just gonna pick this up, elevate it a little bit higher up toward the nose, and I'm gonna do a channel cutting right in the center, walk my way out, and then drop that down again. And that kind of helps to let that melt into the cut a little bit more. That feels great to me.
losing all my focus. I can't even control it. You know your lips are golden, baby.